Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Monday night community race for Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Randomizer. My name is Rex Raoul. We're here. We've got a bunch of people in the race. I think about 20 people total, thereabouts. And we're highlighting 4 runners: Z-Man, Chokosura, Big Dunka, and BG Rich. And commentating with me tonight is Nitsky. Nits, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing excellent. Rex, yourself?
Oh, not bad, not bad. So we've got some flags tonight, don't we?
We certainly do. It would be my version in this game of a pretty much a scavenger hunt. You've got to go looking for not only, there's no crystal to find, there's a legend sword and an adamant. You got to forge those together with our best buddy Kokol, take it to his place, he gives you the crystal, and then you can go and fight Zeromus. But it's randomized amongst, I believe 27 different items, 27 different chests in the game. So there are all the bosses, plus all of the trap chests on the underground and the moon. So definitely looking forward to an amazing race for everybody involved. And thank you everybody for coming out to Randomania.
Yeah, and not to mention also the summon bosses, Ashura, Leviathan, Bahamut, Odin, Sylph, and all the lunar bosses in the lunar subterrane as well. So there are a ton of places where key items could be found. We might start the game with one, we might not. We know we're definitely starting with Tella, because that's our character that our racers have. But it'll be really exciting to see what else is going on tonight.
Perfect. So I think we're just waiting on everyone else to start up here. And I think the count is 25. It might be just a little bit more than that. And our gatekeeper's about to get things going here. So you'll see.
If we got to 25, then that's great. That was I checked a little bit earlier, so we must have had some late entrants, and that's wonderful.
It is, absolutely. So we should see them going any second now, as they're super excited to find all these things. Also, just as note, if you're wondering where the pass might be, is the pass cycled in with one of these key items? It's not. It's in one of 3 chests, either on the overworld or the underworld. So good luck. And our racers appear to be off. And so we are going to see who Tella is going to be with. And it's a Kid Rydia, and Vanilla Baigan. And it looks like the charm. Oh my goodness.
The charm rod?
The charm rod. Thanks, Rex.
Yeah, it's one of these items that's a pretty good find for somebody like Rydia in your party, or even Tella to boost their black magic early in the game.
Yeah, but definitely looking at some really low damage at this point. Our racers hopefully remember that it is free lunch. So what's free lunch, you might ask, if you're brand new to this? So there are 2 commonly used flags, no free lunch and free lunch. In free lunch, we can get characters in the normal game without actually fighting a boss. Like you see Z-Man, he's going up to Mysidia. He's hopefully going to get 2 useful characters. He's going to get a useless Tella and a useless Edward. Sorry, Edward's not useless.
And the other thing that a free lunch gives is on Chokosura's screen, we saw him go up to Toria, to Edward in the bed, and he gives you an item, and this time it was a key item. It was the hook.
So very, very important. In a K4 seed, you might be required to go to the moon to go underground. So could be possible, could not be possible. You see BG Rich taking the more traditional looting approach that you might see in some of the other seed flags. Again, nothing wrong with doing that. What you might want to do is try and increase the size of your party faster, just so that you can get going further and kill bosses and get more key items faster. That might be the only thing that I might do personally different.
Was rewarded with a sorcerer robe. I saw that. That's a very good armor. It looks like the character on Mount Ordeals is a duplicate Rydia. So we do have a lot of duplicates early. We saw duplicate Tella, duplicate Rydia. Chokosura is now going into the watery passage. There's another character there that could be gotten for free.
Yep. The watery pass is usually forgotten in most free enterprise races, but in this case, rewarded with, some people might say, the greatest character, Rosa.
Well, I don't know if she's the greatest, but I really like Rosa because she's extremely versatile in that she fulfills the white mage role, and a white mage is very much, I wouldn't say required, but very much welcomed to almost any party. But if you get the right pieces of equipment, she can also be tweaked to do a decent amount of damage too, and she has decent HP growth and everything. Overall, very versatile character. Almost always a welcome sight.
Absolutely, absolutely. She can do DPS. She can do healing. I'm sure that Chocosura is not unhappy that that she's along for the ride.
Yeah, looks like both Z-Man and Big Dunka were diving a little bit deeper to find a few more treasure chests within that watery pass before exiting out. None of the chests in the watery passage are trapped, so there's no chance for key items, but more useful items early in the game, either for equipment, J item usage, or just to sell for extra money, is always welcome.
Absolutely, and since it's not something we might normally do in a seed just because of free lunch, definitely not a bad play there to get those extra chests, and maybe you pick up something good. We are using T3 flags, so not the worst items, but you probably won't see any adamants lying around, although you never know.
That would be unlikely, but there are still pretty good things. Rune axes, we saw the sorcerer robe. These are, I think we saw a rune ring. These are pretty good pieces of equipment that people are finding as well.
Exactly. On Big Dunka, we're going to see who you get there, and that's Yang. In the normal game, Edward would be there, all sad about Anna dying, but in this case, Yang is very sad, and Big Dunka is probably not unhappy that Yang's coming along for now. So we see more looting. I'm curious to see where the pass will diverge at this point, because this is all pretty standard for the beginning game.
Yeah, there's a lot of chests that are open to the characters at the beginning of the game. Baron has a bunch, Toria Castle has a bunch, Toria Town has a number of them too, and then the Damsian ones. Technically anything inside that watery passage. So there are quite a bit of free chests available right away. And now that at least Chokosura is the only one so far, but as the hook, that also opens up everything in the Eblin Cave too. A lot of chests in there, another character. The only thing is, one of those chests in Eblin Cave is trapped, and it has 2 Stalemen in it, and that can be a very dangerous fight at low levels.
Absolutely. Looks as though Big Dunka has found where our Bacchus wines are, so definitely shout out to that. A very important item. And Boreas, which is basically, I just call it equivalent to an Ice 2 spell that anybody else can use. And there are sirens in the cafe shop, so he'll definitely want to take note of that for future reference. Although with these flags, he might get enough levels just fighting bosses and trap chests that that might not be important at all.
Yeah, it's good to note, just in case, we have no idea how soon or how long it's going to take in order to get the required items for Go mode. So just making note of where the sirens are is important, because if it turns out they're able to forge the crystal and get a path to Zeramus early enough that they do need to grind, they'll have access to those sirens. But if not, might as well not waste money on them yet.
Doing the mini loot of Troia Castle pays off for Z-Man. He picks up a crystal armor, which for most of us is money armor. I think it sells for something like 50,000 GPs, so he will not be unhappy. That's
an interesting piece of equipment, because even if you do get Paladin Cecil, you don't always want it, because it gives immunity to the Berserk status, and the Berserk status is so good. So a lot of people, even if they do have Paladin Cecil, might opt to sell it for the money, because, as you say, it is worth a lot of gold.
And we will definitely be needing it, fighting a lot of bosses along the way, a lot more than you would normally. So money management and item management is going to be extremely important in regards to this whole match here.
Yeah, especially considering the characters that you have at the start of the game. Rosa and Yang are good pickups without a doubt, but even at their low levels, they're not able to dish out a ton of damage. So using those J items, like those Boreases that you mentioned, are a good way to clear out early bosses. And BG Rich finding the heroine robe in the Antlion Cave, and that's like one of those items that I say, if you get the right equipment, you can tweak Rosa to be a good damage dealer. The heroine robe is just about the best one that you can get for that.
Absolutely. Sorry, I was just having a technical difficulty here.
Oh, Chokosura finds a very useful character inside Eblin Cave. It is Fusoya, the Lunarian Sage.
Absolutely. And in these flags, the F1 flags, basically he comes to you with 900 HP, and we'll see if he, unsurprisingly, takes him along. If he goes up Mount Ordeals and survives Mount Ordeals, he'll get all of his spells, he'll get 1,000 HP, and he'll be OP Fu, as we all know and love him. So I would not be surprised if Chokosura's next step is to go up Ordeals, but you never know.
Yeah, I think so long as Choco remembers that it's F1 and not F2, because the two different Fusia challenges are considerably different. Big Dunka, meanwhile, headed up Mount Hobbs and was able to get Sid in the party. Sid is a useful character, especially, well, actually throughout most parts of the game. Early in the game, he's a higher level than most of the other characters, so he can actually deal out some decent physical damage without, in the early part of the game, without a whole lot of health. In the end, he can still deal good damage if you get a good weapon for him, and his HP growth is great.
Absolutely. He's a viable endgame character, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was kept around till the end. Like you said, he can deal a lot of damage, and especially in these flags, a lot of Sid's items that he can use are considered common or uncommon, so there's a greater likelihood of finding them in a chest or in a shop. So
yeah, you'd be more likely to find his rune axe, say, than Cecil's crystal sword or Kane's white spear or something like that. So yeah,
exactly. Especially Earthhammer is no slouch either, yeah. even if he picked that up at this point, and definitely will do a lot of damage. And his HP growth is phenomenal for endgame. So if you want someone to hit you, he's your guy. So we do see on BG Rich's side, he's run into the Lunar Dragons. I believe he is in the Antlion Cave?
Yeah, that's Antlion down there, yeah.
Yeah. So the fun fact about D-Lunars, if you use a physical attack, they will counter with wall and then just virus you to death. So he is smartly remembering this and using his magic spells, and there he goes. He is down. So definitely not a problem there. We'll see what our key item out of Antlion Cave is momentarily, as soon as everybody gains their myriad of levels, because we do have the X2 flag. And he is rewarded with Leviathan. Womp womp.
We'll note that it looks like somewhere in the Eblin Cave, Chokosura was able to find one of the 3 passes found again.
Oh, he has already found pass. Then yeah. He's no closer to beating the game than anybody else.
Right.
Question in chat, what are the items tracked in the tracker? So these are the key items that you see there that our great tracker Scala Kitty is working on behind the scenes in regards to making sure that we have everything up to date there. So ultimately the C for the crystal is what Chokosura would be looking for. In V1 flags, he needs the Legend Sword and he needs the Adamant Armor, which are the 2 on the 4th row at the bottom on the left, in order to forge the crystal. So these are just key items that you get along the way. They allow for progression in the game and basically allow our players to continue playing on to the final goal. Because we're using K4 flags, there are going to be some bosses that do not give out a key item in K4. So you're going to see, like at the beginning, there was the Charm Rod, Sometimes you get a key item, sometimes you don't. So that's what those are for. I hope that answers your question.
And just one minor correction on there. It's just the adamant, not the adamant armor that you need to get.
Did I say armor? I apologize. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of rolls off the tongue, adamant armor, so...
It does. Another sadness for Big Dunk. I mean, Leviathan is not a bad pickup, but when your goal is getting key items, especially with the X2 flag, if our runners do have more than 10 key items in their inventory, anything they kill will get double experience. So it's definitely important for them to do so. I see that Z-Man was kind enough to find our Staleman fight in Eblan Cave. I'm having a really hard time here tonight. They have roughly about, I believe, 1600 HP each.
Yeah, Z-Man had picked up some hourglasses, which is going to make this fight a lot more trivial. Chokasura had also found the fight, but did not have the proper equipment, so just reset out of that and cleared out the rest of the chests in there. So if Z-Man fights this fight to its finish, we'll see if there is possibly a key item in this chest, because trap chests can yield key items.
Absolutely. Frostoids, this randomizer free enterprise is considered more of an open world randomizer. So unlike the linearity of the vanilla game, there's also other randomizers out there, the Lunarian Shuffle, which changes the linearity of the game. This is more of an open world. You have the enterprise, you can go pretty much wherever you want, and you need to find these items in order to progress in the game. So it definitely is, it does take a little getting used to, but once you do get into it, it's very addictive. It's easy to learn and difficult to master. What I say. And
they're the same key items that are in the regular game. You just don't usually like hold on to them. Like, for example, in the Baron Inn, you fight Yang, and he gives you the Baron key, and that opens the door to the Baron sewers. And that Baron key is one of the items that could be randomized to be anywhere. It still opens the door to the Baron sewers, but you just don't know where you're going to get it.
Exactly. Wondrous for Z-Man, he's picked up a key item, the Luca key, which would be potentially important. And no one wants to go down the Luca key rabbit hole, but it might definitely happen.
Luca's key opens the sealed cave in the underground. That's one that a lot of runners tend to avoid if they can, because it is a very long cave. It's got a boss after you find out the item that you get there. So a lot of times you'll see people go down there, save right before they enter the dungeon, go down, and if they don't like the item, they just reset without even seeing who the boss is.
And also, if you're wondering, they seem to be moving around very quickly with no encounters on the overworld, on the underworld, anywhere. So there's this magical flag that you see called E3, which allows us to turn encounters on and off. Nobody likes random encounters, so we leave them off so that you can go ahead and go through the game really quickly. So I just wanted to point that out for some new people who might wonder why they're not running into any random battles on the way to their bosses.
But if anyone decides they want to grind, they're free to turn them on.
Yeah, so you just go into the menu option and you turn it on and off. It's a toggle. There are other E-flags. You can turn encounters completely off. With a flag, you can sort of change the percentage of the amount of random encounters with the other E-flags, or you can leave it just straight vanilla as E0. And yeah, good luck with that.
We're seeing BG Rich having some troubles in that Valvolus fight. Valvolus is one of the tougher bosses, depending on where you find her in the game, but BG Rich able to take her down. When she's in that tornado form, sometimes her physical and magic evasion gets real high, and being able to hit her with either physical or magic attacks can get really difficult. The one way to avoid that is having Kane in your party. If you recall, when you fight her in the vanilla game up at the top of the Tower of Zot, it's right when Kane rejoins the party, and so you're supposed to use his Kane or his jump command to transform her out of tornado form. But oftentimes you fight her in this randomizer, you do not have the luxury of Kane, and she can be tough without that.
Absolutely, but BG Rich making it look easy. And for his troubles, he received, I don't know what he received, but I'm going to say it wasn't a key item, so he might be a little bit sad about that.
There was a Zeus gauntlet in the treasure trove in Fabul Castle, though. Another one of those really useful items. For physical attackers, that's about the best gauntlet you can find. And Scala's saying it was a Drain Sword.
Drain Sword, my favorite sword. It is, as you can see, a great item to pick up if your name is Kane, perhaps. And beyond that, it's pretty useless.
I'm not a big fan of the Drain Sword. I know that there are some strategies that involve berserking a character with the Drain Sword so that they're healing themselves as they hit, but I usually think of both the Drain Sword and the Drain Spear as sources of money.
Yes, I think I would be in the majority. I'm just trying a little bit because Drain Spear and Drain Sword are my favorites. Because usually that's what I run into whenever I miss a key item. I go down a big item chain and it ends up with the Drain Spear, and I'm always excited about that. So we do see them shopping in Fabul. A lot of choices here. Some Moon Veils. With this game, they have the J1 flag on, which means that they have the Japanese items in the game. There were some really overpowered items called Moon Veils and Star Veils that were in the Japanese game. We use them basically as a wall. Also, Moon Veil is bugged in that it also avoids any physical damage, so you become basically invincible.
I don't believe that's a bug, but it is definitely something that it does. I will note it's actually the J2 flag we have tonight that also restores the special commands that the Japanese character or the Japanese version of the game has for the characters, such as Cecil's Dark Wave attack, Porum's Cry that is pretty useless, and we're seeing a pretty nasty fight in the second fight in Mount Ordeals as Golbez shows up.
Thank you, Rex, for fixing that. It is J2, so you'll see our characters might get their spells at slightly different levels versus the US version. But this is actually quite tough. Big Dunka having to remember that the Shadow Dragon has to finish his sequence before you can attack Golbez. And unfortunately, she's down, which might turn out to be bad, and leaving Talon sit up not so good. I'm not sure if he has Star Veils or Moon Veils. If he does, he is going to want to try and pop those off very, very quickly.
Yeah,
otherwise,
if he was able to find those in the shop at Fabul, then this might be not that bad of a fight, but this is still nasty at that.
Yeah, he's lucky that his Sid does get it off just in time.
Yeah, that's a close one.
That's a close one. Now, hopefully he remembers. He does. In this battle, you do have to do some damage to Golbez in order for the fight for him to go Y like that. Otherwise, it will just continue on forever and ever. So I only learned that recently.
Yeah, Golbez can do as much damage to himself as possible, and it won't be enough.
Yeah.
As you see the magic evasion on Chokosura's screen, Rydia used a Star Veil, which is a Stardust, which is basically a casting of the Comet spell, kind of like the Palamon Porum's Comet twin magic, but it just did 1 damage, so that's not very helpful. Luckily, Rosa was able to use Aim and finish off Valvalus for him.
Yeah, so he is through there. He will be rewarded with a Drain Sphere. It looks as though it was...
That was a Dragoon helmet, I believe, that Big Dunka got there.
It was. I saw a D, and it was so fast that I'm not gonna say it's a Darkness Crystal, that's for sure, because
no.
he probably would have stopped for a second and said, "Is this real life?"
Darkness Crystal would be something that a lot of the runners would love to see, because getting access to the moon means access to a lot of trap chests, a lot of possible key items, a lot of bosses.
Absolutely. So we do have Pale Dim in the Cecil spot here. He only has 1,000 HP, so shouldn't be that tough as long as Big Dunka does not use any magical attacks because he absorbs all magic. He is good to go, and his Tello will become powerful and learn Meteor that he won't be able to cast. And life will continue on.
Yeah, we'd have to find a Soma drop because we are glitchless tonight.
Yes, we are. So in glitchless, if you're familiar with the vanilla game, there are some ways to glitch the game. One of those is called the MP underflow. Unfortunately, some really smart programmer type, when they ran this ROM hack, figured out a way to fix that problem. So we have that amongst some other things that aren't available. Unfortunately for BG Rich, he either doesn't have a Star Veil or wasn't able to get it out fast enough, and Golbez takes him down. So
he did have the Star Veils, but Edward was the first character selected, was checked the Star Veil and was ready to use it. Golbez used Virus on him, and then it was Tella's turn, and tried to get the Star Veil off on Tella, was trying to run buffer to try to edge out just a little bit more time. Still was not able to do it. Got unlucky. If that first virus had targeted Tella instead of Edward, I think BG Rich would have gotten past this fight without a problem.
That's right, Scala. It's a problem that has a solution. As we're getting our first look here, or at least my first look, at the Baron Inn, where Sid is hanging out with the CPU team. The question is always, what lies beneath? CPU at this spot will be, relatively speaking, a joke, with 400 HP.
The first fight in the Baron Inn is usually one of the easier fights. I mean, only something like a Golbez or a Wyvern might be really tough in that spot.
And we already know where Golbez is, so...
Right.
It could be Wyvern, just to increase the trolliness. That could be fun. Rosa this time does pop up a Star Veil for BG Rich, so he should be okay.
And Big Dunka finding a Rune Axe in the Baron Inn treasure chest before entering this fight, so that's going to make Sid even better.
And there we go. Easy peasy, Sid takes it down. Yang putting out 280 damage against the attacker. And now we're going to find out it is Dr. Luge, or Dr. Luigi, or Dr. whoever you want to call him.
It's Balnab. Are you kidding me? From Balnab.
The one and only Balnab. So, not a free fight, but because the 3,000 HP in this spot is split between the three of them, they only have to do about 1,000 to each form, so shouldn't be too hard. Even at this relatively low level, Lit 3 should be able to take him out there. That's why it's important to walk up ordeals. In early game, you do want Tella to have some spells. Otherwise, it can be a tough grind.
Yeah, Tella doesn't get a really super useful spell like Quake, but those level 3 elemental spells, when used properly, are very effective, even for Tella. As a lot of us know from the vanilla game when fighting Kainaza.
Exactly. So we are going to see a key item on Big Dunka's side here, and it is a pan. So very exciting.
Yeah, that's a very useful key item. Now, in the vanilla game, you get the pan after going through the Sylph Cave and finding Yang after he had supposedly sacrificed himself to destroy the super cannon, or the super cannon.
Yep.
So you find him, you go up and talk to his wife, and she says, here's this frying pan, why don't you hit him on the top of the head? Like, that seems like a good idea to me. So in this case, we don't have to talk to his wife in order to get the pan, we just found it here. So when we head out to the Sylph Cave, we're already equipped with it, so we can just whack him up right when we get there, and then that'll give us yet another key item when we go and talk to Yang's wife. So 2 in total, plus, since this is K2 plus, the Sylph, you normally get the Sylph Summon at that point. That Sylph Summon places a potential spot for another key item. So this is a trip to the Sylph Cave and then back to Fabul could yield a total of possible 3 key items.
Now the question is, Big Dunka only has the hook, so the question is, does he want to trudge through Upper Babel and its plethora of goodies to potentially get off that trifecta of key items? Or is he going to continue to just run around the overworld, which it appears as though he's doing?
Yeah, at least for now.
Yeah. I would say at this point, probably most of our runners, at least our feature runners, will exhaust the overworld first before actually diving into Hook, because nobody likes to dive Hook for some reason.
Well, even if just for the levels, the two bosses at the end of Upper Babel in the King and Queen Evelyn spot and the Rubicante spot are no joke at low to medium levels. They can be very difficult fights. So we might see the runners clear out more of the overworld just to get some of those levels in order to make that more palatable.
Just checking, BG Rich appears to be frozen on my side.
Yeah, it looks like there might be some technical difficulties, maybe some drop frames, but hopefully that'll pick up very soon.
Right, because I'm really curious what he's doing in Agard here.
Well, it looks like, if you look at the direction that Tell is facing, there is one chest in Agard, so it might be checking out what that is. Ooh, Big Dunka making the play into Evelyn Castle. There are 3 trapped chests in Evelyn Castle. Oh, and finds one in the first chest looking for, and it is the 3-Mad Ogre fight. So all 3 of these trapped chests in Evelyn Castle are potential spots for key items. So it's a play that you're going to see a lot more often in K3 and K4 than you will in K1 and K2 to go to Evelyn Castle like this.
Yeah. And he's thrown the hourglass, so that's going to stop the Mad Ogres. Now, it doesn't stop them in their tracks, but if they have any queued up actions, it will complete those actions before it continues. Smartly pulling up Rydia to make sure she gets experience, because everybody likes experience in this game. And finishing off those Mad Ogres pretty easily once they're stopped.
Yeah, and has mute arrows on Rosa, which do for some reason Mad Ogres are classified as mage type enemies, and mute arrows do 4 times damage on mage type monsters. So just massive damage that Rose is dealing out there.
Very OP, very OP. We do see. I'm sure we'll get BG Rich's stream back soon enough. So let's see what Z-Man is up to. He might be going into the... He's going to go into Kaipo. Maybe see what's going on in there. He appears to have also picked up the pass. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly where he picked it up, but...
Ooh, there's some good items there in the weapon shop. See mute arrows, see dragon whip, saw... Rune Axe was there as well. So decent items for sale there. Without a doubt.
Definitely not cheap though.
Oh yeah, you need money. you need
money. Sell that drain sword, Z-Man. Do it. You'll thank us later. If I could trade 2 crystal shields, you don't need 2.
Well, it's one of those things that's like, when I was playing the game vanilla, as a teenager and everything like that, I would hoard everything and just put everything that I'm not using in the big chocobo. When playing this game in free enterprise on flags like this, you just gotta sell everything.
Absolutely. Scala, nice enough to point out to us that the pass is in Cave of Blana, so...
Yep. Yeah, Choco picked that up first, I believe, and then Z-Man got one too. So.
Yeah, I missed where they picked it up there. So, so far it looks as though just a lot of action going on here.
Yeah, Big Dunka finding another trapped chest in the Castle of Evelyn, and this is the Staleman for Skull Fight. Yang has one of those claws. I don't remember if it's the Cat Claw or the Poison Claw or the Charm Claw. One of them does 4 times damage to those Stalemen, and I was able to take it out really easily.
Nice. Good work. Z-Man picking up some hourglasses. Definitely not a bad idea. Now, you'll see they're ranked hourglass 1, 2, and 3. That simply is the amount of time that they are stopped. For most of our purposes, hourglass 1s are sufficient for what we need to do. But if you can only find hourglass 3s, they're a little more expensive, but pick them up.
Yeah, hourglasses are an interesting item. They're often purchased, at least in small amounts, in almost any seed, where you can use them on certain bosses, like the Dark Imps, like the Baron Guards. But they become even more valuable in a seed or in a flag set like this, where you're going to be opening a bunch of trap chests, because a lot of the monsters in the trap chests are susceptible to stop, and that just makes it so much easier to get through those battles, especially at lower levels.
I wish I knew that as a kid, Rex. Those fights used to just wreck me. Had someone just said, "Hey, cast stop on these guys," it would be easy.
Yeah, stop was a spell that I never made much use of in the vanilla game, but man, oh man, is it really useful in free enterprise. And Big Duncan now in the final trap chest, the Lamia 2 Black Cat in there. See if this play will finally yield a key item.
You always hope so. Whenever you dive into an area, you want to get at least one key item out of it. Getting nothing almost makes you feel like, man, I wasted my time here and I got nothing. You get something big, hey, then that's always good.
Well, it's also that balancing act. You're like, if you find something good, you're like, well, I hope I'm the only one to go this way. And when you're when you find nothing, you're like, well, I hope everybody else goes here too.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
But I wouldn't be surprised if most, if not all, of our featured streamers would make the run into Evelyn, because it has the potential for those key items. Well, an Avenger Sword, it's not a key item, but it's very useful. But going back to what I was saying, and Chokasur is now there as well, it's also a source of a decent amount of experience early in the game. And if you're going to be carrying a character like young Rydia through the early points of the game, you could use more experience on her all the time.
No, absolutely. So even though he didn't get a key item, Dunka's like, well, I got Avenger, so not the end of the world there.
Yeah, hopefully. If he finds Kane or Cecil, Avenger is what you want. Avenger is the only way to get Berserk status with that crystal armor that we mentioned earlier.
Yes, I only learned that recently.
Now, the Avenger was one that I did make use of when I was young. When I found out, when I found that one in the bottom of the Sylph Cave, and it made it so all of my runs after that, as soon as I got the airship in the underworld, I'd rush that Sylph Cave, try to get that Avenger Sword as soon as possible, and just wail on as many enemies as possible. It really is quite good. Z-Man going for an interesting strategy here, using a Siren up at the top of Mount Ordeals to get a 2 Lilith fight. This is a pretty good source of grinding early in the game if you want to get just a few levels and make those early bosses and early trap chests easier to handle.
Wow, for S3, having Tiara in the Eblin Cave Shop is definitely... I was not expecting it. Tiara happens to be the best in slot defensively for female characters in the game. And I believe overall it's the second best.
There's the Ribbon, I think, outclasses it a little bit, but they're both very good.
Yep.
But yeah, Tiara, very good find. Makes those female characters survive a lot of the hits earlier. Z-Man now going through the fights up in Mount Ordeal is going to make Tella more useful. Utilizing that hourglass on the Baron Soldier fight, making that fight even easier than it was already. Oh yeah, and also get full power Fusia for that. And Big Dunka did just pick up the pass right before the Staleman fight here in the Cave Eblana. So joining Z-Man and Chokostura with the pass. And we see a Mute Dagger being equipped on Chokosura's Rydia. Mute Dagger is a pretty useful weapon. It also has that same deal 4 times damage to mage type enemies that Rose's Mute arrows have, but it also does boost the Wisdom stat for Rydia, so it's going to make her magic and her summons do a bit more damage. And since we have Leviathan here, that's going to be useful. Going to be interesting to see if Big Dunk is going to be the first to make the dive into the upper tower of Babel. We see that it's going to be Leviathan in the Rubicante spot, as that's the sprite that's turning into fire there and attacking Fusia in the Vanilla Edge location. Z-Man's making that fight against Golbez. We'll see if Z-Man's got that Star Veil and can get that off in time. That seems to be the key in this location to beating Golbez, is having that Star Veil. And we see Leviathan coming through, defeating the Stalemen and the Skulls for Chokosura. Tella getting equipped with a Change Rod, upping that Wisdom stat. Well, Moonveil does just as well as a Star Veil in this situation. Z-Man, you gotta make an action. Attack, use a spell, you just can't sit there. And yeah, Big Dunka is diving into the tower. Oh, come on, Z-Man. Any attack. Any attack, Z-Man. You can't just sit there.
All right, I'm back.
All right, welcome back.
Thanks. Long story short, I've been having a problem with that a couple of weeks ago. I thought it was fixed, but apparently not, so I'll buy a new one tomorrow.
All right, that was a smoke detector for those who didn't know, but Nitzkai's back. We do have Big Dunka being the first to dive into Upper Tower Babel, currently fighting the 4-Mad Ogre fight. Z-Man used the Moonveil on Fusia, but has not taken an action. I think if you... I think... Was that a reset or did a stream drop? Want to see... Just even a plink with the rod would have been enough to get the Y from Galvez, so...
Apparently it was a stream drop. Just internet not playing nice today.
And that is unfortunate.
It looks as though he's back though, and he figured it out.
Yeah, so did anything with Fusia. I mean, there was like 5 or 6 big time magic spells that were reflected back onto Galvez. So any amount of damage would have been enough to finish him off there. Okay, Choco now returning to Cave Eblana. Now his characters are at a much higher level. Looks like curing up before going into that Staleman fight, and shouldn't have much of an issue with it at these levels now. Now, especially with the full level or fully powered Fusia. Looks like it was the Legend Sword was the reward for the 4 Mad Ogres fight in Upper Babel. So in this case, it seems like it's a hook seed. We're going to need to go through there anyway, so it's going to be easy to get it right along the way. But if this was a Magma Seed key, this would have been a tough one. A lot of people might have avoided Upper Babel, and that would have been required. So we see Antlion in the King Queen Evelyn spot. This is actually a pretty nasty spot to fight Antlion, because the King Queen Evelyn spot, even though all they do is cast really low level fire spells on the party. This spot actually has a really high physical attack rate, physical attack power, and all Antlion does is throw physical attacks and then that counter horn, which isn't much. Luckily, the full-powered Fusia was able to nuke him out of it. And then another non-slouch boss followed up is going to be Leviathan. Big Dunka making the smart play on running back and doing a safety save after defeating Antlion. And then we'll see how well Dunka is able to handle the Leviathan fight. Leviathan always opens with this big wave attack, which does 25% of the character's max health. And then usually sits back and casts Ice Tube spells. So getting a slow off to make those Ice Tubes come a bit more infrequent. It does a decent amount of damage, but I think not insurmountable. So we'll see if the nukes are going to be enough to get it done. Actually, opting for a ice or a lit 3 to try to exploit a weakness and see if that does better.
Perfect. Sorry about that. It just my smoke detector doesn't have batteries. It's sealed, so I had to go and just shut it off. But it's okay.
No worries. I'll vamp for you whenever you have to go.
That should be the end of it because it's off now. So just bring me up to speed. Leviathan, what spot are we at here?
Leviathan is in the Rubicante spot. Antlion was in the King Queen Evelyn spot. Chokosur is fighting the Mad Ogres, which is going to give him the Legend Sword, a required item in this Forge the Crystal.
I appreciate the recap, Rex, and I'm sure that chat appreciates the recap as well. As Chokosur gets the Legend Sword, super excited about it. So excited he doesn't know what to get rid of.
Yep, so now both Big Dunka and Chokosura are an adamant away from go mode, assuming they can get past Leviathan and can make it to Kokol's shop.
And that's important. And it looks as though Dunka is through.
Yep. The lit 3 strategy paid off.
Well, that's why you climb up ordeals, make Fusuya powerful.
Absolutely. Fusia at full power is a lot better than Fusia at 900 HP.
Exactly. And we do have a Chokosura coming here into Antlion. So we will see if he's able to get through successfully. Now, a little trick that I personally only learned recently, and you can actually see who's in Upper Babel if you just Dunka, just turn to the right.
Not bothering. Dunka's going to wait till he climbs the tower, it looks like.
Yeah. Well, it's always nice to know what you might go up against. Kugel's, it's actually a lithium-ion sealed battery. And there's a clip that I had to go and find a screwdriver and clip it off. And then I'm going to call the manufacturer tomorrow and give him a piece of my mind because I've only had it for about 3 months. But thank you. I appreciate it.
Choco was able to get past Antlion. Now, if they didn't have Fusia with full power, then Antlion could have been a lot more difficult here. But the nuke spell really helps there. Dunka heading to my favorite town in the game, Tomra. There's a small treasure trove up in the northwest corner, another item shop where you could possibly find really useful items. Now that we're in the underworld, along with Evelyn Cave, sometimes you can see higher quality items in the item shops down there. So we'll be looking for items like Cure 3s and such.
Yep. The way the randomizers worked, the more locked behind a shop is, the better the items it will have. So hopefully all this selling here could sell at least one of those crystal swords. Wow. The top troll, tent, and mallet.
Yeah, they're weighted to have better items. They're not T have better items.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. I should have said that.
Duncan now in the room with my absolute favorite NPC, but looks like deciding not to talk to him. So okay.
He got a heroin robe, so not a complete loss.
Yeah, might have already had the heroin robe from the Antlion Cave earlier, but could sell it if nothing else.
Absolutely. There you go. He sold one of those crystal armors. Realized, worst case scenario, only Cecil can wear the crystal armor, so you only need one.
Yeah.
They don't break, thankfully. So I wonder where he's going to go next. Probably, no, right next door. Interesting. I might have taken on Dwarf Castle at this point, but he is going to drop into Luca Cave.
I think this is one of those things where, like, Dunk has been playing in the league recently and is only having a few opponents, but trying to get the edge early is huge. And this is a gamble. Big Dunka is betting that a lot of the runners are going to avoid the sealed cave like the plague. But if that adamant is the key item at the bottom of this cave, then he's going to take a huge lead over the field here. So this is definitely a gamble, but if it pays off, it could pay off big time.
You are definitely not wrong there in regards to that. I guess while I was dealing with Fake Crisis there, it looks as though Z-Man has picked up the pan as well. So he's a little bit behind, but there's still plenty of time to catch up.
Yeah, Z-Man did I think it was Z-Man that did a little bit, was that Shoko? No, I think it was Z-Man who did a little bit of grinding up on Mount Ordeals on the Liliths. So
that's right. I remember you saying that. It seemed a little bit weird, and then my smoke alarm went off. So we're about to see for Big Dunka here if it's the big payoff or if he's just going to nope out.
And the interesting thing is if it's a progression item that isn't like a go mode item, like if it's the Earth Crystal or the Twin Harp or the Tower Key.
He's gonna keep it. He's gonna have to keep it. And
at this point, he does. I agree with you. And yeah, he's not resetting, so he's gonna at least see who the boss is.
That's Mylon. It's not. Okay. It could have been worse. It could have been
much worse. Yeah, this is even though his characters are really weak because he didn't heal after the Leviathan fight. This is a pretty. I won't say it's free, but it's pretty close to free.
Yeah, it's these. As you can see there, the gas go down with just one quake, and it's just. Although that lit one hit for a surprising lot against Yang there.
Yeah, well, Yang doesn't have an equipment draw that has a lot of protection against elements, so like no access to like diamond shields or dragoon armor or anything like that.
That's very true. I forget about that sometimes. But yeah, hitting Fusoya for one, he's probably just gonna plod through here, maybe heal up, because his physical attack is doing some damage there. 500 is no joke.
Right, and this is a very fast spot.
Yeah, Mylon seems to be getting a lot of attacks off. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, it's a very fast spot, and yeah, like I said, not free. Oh, you know, Grimoire, you do not want to see go up in a boss fight.
Odin, unfortunately, Odin cannot defeat bosses because bosses are immune to insta-death. So
I find Odin cannot kill anyone you want.
No, I never. When you get Odin there, you kind of sigh. And Big Dunka has decided nope.
Yeah, might have been able to do it if he was full on healed, but
yeah. He's doing the smart thing.
Yeah, now healing up, gonna go for it again, and this time having a better HP pool. All the characters will have a much better chance.
Yep, I agree 100% on that one. On the other side, we do see Chakasura going into the omelet grind, or the egg grind, the scrambled egg grind, whatever word you would like to say. So I guess he's probably happy with his party makeup at this point. He doesn't have the adamant yet, so he's not in go mode, but I think he's just leveling up at this point to go, hey, let's make my life a little bit easier, and let's get some levels.
Yeah, if you like your party, you've got the sirens, you've got the access there. You might as well make it so that the bosses that you're going to fight for the rest of the game aren't going to be too much of a difficulty.
No, definitely no issues with him grinding right now, if that's who he's happy with. Which it doesn't look like a bad party, so... You got a fully powered food there, you got a Rosa, you got Iridia. You're going to have to do some work with her, but Sydney Yang will carry you, so definitely a viable endgame party.
Yeah, and even if Choco's not going to rely on Rydia for the Zyrmus fight, Rydia is definitely holding her own before then with that Leviathan summon.
Very true. As you can see on Big Dunka's side, a lot easier this time. All his characters up, all pretty much full power.
Yeah, got a Berserk off on Yang too, so he's going to be dealing out more damage than normal. Just hope that most of those Lit 1 counters are not going to hit Yang with it, because he seems to be a bit more susceptible to it, as we noted in the earlier fight.
Absolutely. But hey, with 5 characters up, only a 20% chance, so I like those odds.
Yeah, you should be able to heal him up in between them then.
Absolutely, and Tella being up, even with his Fire 3 there, doing his part, 2300, that's it's no slouch.
Yeah, it's not Nuke, but what is? Just Nuke.
Exactly. It's Tella. Doing 2300 is kind of a big deal.
Okay, so now Chokosura is entering, it looks like the Land of Summoned Monsters. Looks like one of the things that he was looking for was getting Float on Rosa with that egg grind. So now can walk over the damaged tiles without problem. And when finding, there is one trapped chest in the cave to the Land of the Summoned Monsters. And we'll be able to fight it without being at 1 HP for all his characters. And that's always better.
And it's a 5 warrior encounter, so it's definitely not it's not an easy encounter, that's for sure.
Right.
And he's found it.
Yeah, he does have access to Quake on Fusia, which can do a lot. He's got access to Hourglasses, which he's using with Rosa. Gonna make it pretty trivial.
Pretty much. We see Big Dunka showing off the warp strat, so you cannot exit out of the sealed cave, but you can use warp for some reason. The game was being a little sadistic here. So he can just warp back through previous levels and then just walk out the end. Easy peasy.
Yeah, there was a cutscene at the end of the cave in the vanilla game, so you can't just exit out of there, but I guess warping is fine.
I guess so. Yes, the Kane betrayal, I remember now.
Yeah, one of many Kane betrayals.
Listen, he's just doing what he's told. He's a good soldier.
I don't know if a guy who is a serial betrayer can be counted as a good soldier.
You might be right. Ninja Sword in the Land of the Summoned Monsters. Chokosura probably not too pumped about that, especially with no edge.
Big Dunka following that chain that the sealed cave gave and is heading up the Tower of Babel. Gonna try to see if that tower key, which there's 4 trapped treasure chests in the lower Tower of Babel, plus there's the boss at the top, and then there's the super cannon room, all of which are potential key item spots. With that tower key, getting the 6th possible place there. This is a pretty high density spot, so hoping that this is going to be the play.
Our first look at the Assuran Leviathan spot gives us Dolls and Yang. So Definitely not free fights there.
No, both of those seem like they're actually pretty tough. Yang might be more doable because if he... Well, no, you don't have Cecil in the party. Because if you hit him with Cecil after the third hit, then he wakes up, but... or the third kick.
I'm thinking dolls might be easier because you can hourglass the cows and then just take everything down if you're going to at all, which he might be doing.
Like he's making that try. I mean, I think this is still a very tough fight, but we'll see.
We'll see how much those Brainas hit for. That'll be the key.
Yeah. Because both of these spots are no joke. Okay, well, that seems manageable, and with the egg grind that Choco did, pretty high levels now, so this seems like it should be doable. We'll see. The other thing that could be a problem is, hopefully, with the hourglass on the cows, it doesn't wear off before all the Brainas are down and they form the Calbraina.
Yeah. Looks like he'll be okay there. In the meantime, Big Dunka dropping into a trap chest and getting a rat tail for his trouble. So more progression. He'll be able to turn in that item with the hook. We'll see if he. I'm going to assume he's going to finish the tower and then see what happens there, and then hand that in.
Considering he's already in another trap chest fight, I think I agree with you. Going to finish out these the tower. And then we'll probably cash in the rat tail after that.
And Big Dunka gets money armor. And Chakosura gets the best rod in the game.
Yeah, Stardust Rod is if you're going to get a piece of equipment instead of key item, you'd want it something like a Stardust Rod, which is going to be either for Fusia or Iridia. It's just going to do wonders for their black magic stat and increase the amount of damage that they do. And also, in a pinch, can be used as an item to cast that Comet spell. The same thing as the Stardust item or the Twin spell.
That's very true. And if your Fu's doing 4,000 before, you want Fu doing more than 4,000 with that nuke. So definitely the smart play there. Just wanted to remind everyone we're just about an hour in and nobody has done yet. So there's still a lot of game left. Still tons. For all we know, Adamant is at the bottom of Ogopogo. Nobody knows.
Or possibly even deeper. Because there could be trap chests down in the lunar core past the Ogopogo spots. So
I was trying to let the crowd down gently.
No, not me. I'll bring him to him. Nice. An Artemis bow found by Big Dunka. The best bow in the game.
Yeah. This Yang fight is no slouch. He's rocking it 2K.
Yeah, this is the Ashura spot. Ashura has very high physical attack, pretty decent speed, and a lot of HP. So you just got to outdamage him, and if he can do it, then you could be rewarded. So we'll see. Z-Man making a different play than our other runners who are in the underworld, going to the Sylph Cave. There's a bunch of trapped chests. I believe there's 7 total trapped chests in the Sylph Cave, as well as we mentioned before, the pan sequence down at the bottom. And since Z-Man does have the pan, there's some potential. We'll see if he decides to open chests on the first wave or just goes straight down to Yang. Casting this full spell makes me think that he's going to be opening chests.
Yeah, and as you can see there, having Stardust Rod on Fu was huge. Fu is cranking out 7k nukes, 6,500 damage nukes. Definitely what you want to see. Poison Axe, however, definitely not what you want to see for all that hard work.
Yeah, that's a bit of a letdown.
So, question in chat: valuing cave. I'm trying to say this properly. Bahamut.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what you mean by value. Like, do you mean that the adamant will be there? It's possible.
I think there's always value in Cave Bahamut because you could turn encounters on and fight a few trapped tiles for behemoths, and they give you decent experience. So we'll see. We'll see if there's value in Dr. Luge Bahamut.
Yes, this should be pretty free fight.
Yeah, especially if they still have Stardust.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not too worried, as it looks as though Chocosura is going to make the pan play. He's going to go and thwop Yang.
Yeah, Chocosura playing a little bit differently than Z-Man in the Sylph Cave and going straight down to Yang.
And rewarded with the Baron Key. More progression. More items. Chocosura's like, man, why didn't you just give me a hunk of rock so I can finish the game? Game said no.
That Baron Key will open up a couple things. You are rewarded with a key item for defeating the False King of Baron, and it also opens up the Odin spot, which is another potential spot for a key item.
And another Yang sword, my goodness, Edge sword in Murasame, the second best sword in the game for Big Dunka. He is not happy about that, I can tell you. After all that work, both of our runners on the right side probably not frustrated, but just like laughing it off, like, Final Fantasy IV, what did I expect? Sheila giving out Dragoon Spears like it's going out of style, giving out spoons, and Chocosura is definitely not happy at this.
That is a vanilla spoon.
Yeah.
Speaking of vanilla, here's some vanilla dark imps.
Holy jeez, is this even randomized? Who rolled this seed? Vanilla spoon, vanilla dark imps. The dark imps are pretty much a joke at this point. They have a combined 597 HP, I believe. So,
I think for who rolled this seed, I think we can blame one Penguinator for rolling this seed.
Please send all of your lovely letters to care of Penguinator, 742 Evergreen Terrace, Springfield. He will appreciate it. But we'll see. Maybe there's still hope for Big Dunka and that he's killed the super cannon, saving the world.
And this is the most important one because the tower key was granted to Big Dunka via the Luca key. So this could be still part of that chain of the sealed cave.
It could be. I don't even know what to wish for at this point.
We see BG Rich stream back, and BG Rich has gone to the Dwarf Cave. Not sure what's happened in the meantime, but made short work of the Magus sisters down there.
And he's rewarded with Octo, which we know will give a not key item.
I don't think we've seen this because we get Kane there. I don't think any of our other runners have gone to yet.
So, arguably the best character in the game, our number one betrayer, Kane. Unfortunately, at really low levels, he kind of sucks.
Well, hopefully, for BG Rich's sake, they picked up the Avenger Sword. That makes Kane so much better.
Oh, Big Dunka gets the Earth Crystal. The chain continues as we see Chocosura is going to go down the same road.
So now Dunka is taking not following the chain from Luca now, heading into the Sylph Cave. Gonna at least whack Yang. Looks like not opening up the chests along the way.
I don't know about that strategy, Cotton. I would follow Earth Crystal. You've come this far. You might as well go the whole way. That's my take on it.
It's tough to know, like, how deep is this rabbit hole gonna be?
You got 6 ghosts here. Maybe this is what you needed. 6 ghosts to take you off the path, and maybe the adamant armor. I just want to say adamant armor. Maybe the adamant is right behind here.
It rolls off the tongue. Adamant armor.
It does. It sounds so great. And yeah, it's okay, BG Rich. Things happen. Internets are internets.
So Big Dunka now changing up and opening up the chest. So I think Big Dunka might be a little bit flustered here. So we'll see.
These 6 ghosts are annoying, and we do find there's no value in Dwarf Castle. You get the Bahamut smell. So, yeah, Rydia, hey, nice pickup. Otherwise, thanks, game. So
Yeah,
at least we know that.
Rich had already ditched Rydia, it seems.
Yeah. As we see our amazing tracker, Scala Kitty, furiously clicking buttons to bring BG Rich up to speed. And he's not that far behind, to be honest. Hopefully he does not go down the chain that our friends Chakasur and Big Dunka are going down.
Well, who knows? It depends on when Big Dunka ends up cashing in that Earth Crystal. Because if the Adamant is up at the Tower of Zot?
Yeah, well, but what if...
The other thing is there's a trapped chest in the Tower of Zot, too, that we have seen has checked yet.
This is true. What if the Earth Crystal just leads to Twin Harp? And there's value in music.
Hey, I wouldn't complain about hearing some sweet tunage.
I would not either, Rex. I would not either. That's the dream right there. So we are going to see Big Dunka hit Yang with the pan. We are not condoning any violence. This game was built for a different time. He's going to get a key. He's super pumped about that.
And I'm going to assume that Yang and Sheila are consenting adults, too.
As I would agree. I'm curious what BG Rich is going to do here. We haven't seen a lot of him, so just wonder maybe if he'll make some different plays. As we do see Chakasura able to beat Mylon and is rewarded with...
Gonna be the tower key there.
Yeah, getting the tower key and getting away scot-free. And now we see Big Dunka. He is going to go to the land of the summoned monsters, but first destroy the cave. That's an expensive repair bill for the Enterprise, let me tell you. I believe he's going to look for that one trap chest, but he's going to do it the old-fashioned way. He's just going to run over the tiles.
Yeah, if you're fast enough, if your characters are fast enough, you can get that hourglass off before the warriors go, then it can work. But yeah, I don't know about the okay, there's the float.
Yeah. So it looks as though BG Rich found the same battle that Big Duck is going into now.
Yep.
So we will let them play that out, and unfortunately sadness will ensue because we already know that leads nowhere.
Yeah, and at this time we see a lot of our runners going through the same places that we've seen already. So I want to take a quick time to give shout-outs to all of our runners tonight. Z-Man, Chokasura, BG Rich, and Big Dunka. Give them all a follow. They're putting on a great show for us tonight. I want to also give a shout-out to everybody at the Randomania Network and our wonderful tracker, Scala Kitty, and restreamer, the Tie-Dye Guy. Because without them, we wouldn't have anything to talk about.
Sister, also shout out to Rex Raw, who, while this is the first time we've been commentating together, it's been awesome. And make sure you give him a follow because he's super awesome.
And this guy.
Well, thank you. So let's see here. Let's just recap where we're at here. Z-Man is probably going to go down the same rabbit hole that Chakasur and Big Dunka is going to go. Although he's looking for those trap chests, so I'm not sure if we saw all the trap chests on the other two sides there, but it appears as though no one's willing. Like, if I'm Big Dunka right now and I have the Earth Crystal, I gotta see what happened. I gotta go. I got good enough characters. I got enough money.
The debate is always, where are the density of spots where there could be a potential item? And I think that's the game that Z-Man's playing with. Z-Man's being the only one who seems to be methodically opening all the chests here in Sylph for that reason. That Earth Crystal will lead you to the Tower of Zot, where there's only 2 potential places. Here in the Land of Summoned Monsters, there's a total of 4 with the Vanilla Chest, the Trap Chest, and the 2 bosses down here. So that's more. So that's But I mean, I kind of agree with you though, because if you're going to make the play of the early sealed cave, which Dunka did, and you're given a chain to follow with that, you've got to, like, you've already committed to that, and you should keep going. That's kind of my thought, but I can understand deviating from it, but it's like it's tough.
You've come this far. You gotta play it out for better or worse at this point. And just because, I mean, obviously you don't see all the other runners and see what they're doing,
right?
So it's tough. It's tough to say. Like, he might be thinking, "Oh, geez, I'm a million miles behind," even though it's only an hour 12 in. But he's like, "Man, if the Adamant's here and I go up to Zod, I've lost all the time in the world." But I feel like sometimes you got to follow the chain, even though it sucks. You got to follow the chain.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, are you? Oh, Z-Man did find a key item. That's the Sand Ruby. It's like, this is kind of the difference. Also, the mindset in playing a community race versus playing one of the league races. In the league races, a lot of times you're going to be playing because you want to shoot for first place in those races, because every point that you're getting in there counts. In here, like, are you playing to win or are you playing to get a decent time? If you're playing to get a decent time, then you want to take the safe plays, the high densities. If you're playing to win, then you're going to take those risks and you're going to follow those chains and try to get an edge over him.
Looks as though Big Doll, as is commonly known in the FF4 community, showed up there for Big Dunka, so he decided, no, we're not going to fight this. We're just going to tent up and maybe lick our wounds, and maybe this will be the push he needs to go see Earth Crystal. But
if he's tenting up, I think he's going to give it another shot. Maybe... I didn't watch the beginning of that fight. Did he not open up with an hourglass like we saw the other runners do?
He did, but I guess using the hourglass one just ran out. It looks as though just really bad timing, or maybe just really low damage rolls.
It could be a combo of that, yeah.
Oh, or he's using Silk Web. Maybe that's what I saw previously.
Because if you're avoiding if you're in a spot with a high HP draw, like the Leviathan spot that we've got here, then it's a lot more difficult to get that. Getting a Bahamut off the Grimoire is nice, though. It's going to be a lot more difficult to defeat all of them before the boss becomes the big doll. But got lucky on that Grimoire there.
Very lucky there. I fully expected a repeat to happen, and he's going to be
Odin to show up again.
Yep, and he gets a Stardust Rod, which, again, not a terrible play, but not a progression play. Giving it to Tella over Fu, very interesting. I believe he's just going to go out and save. Again, I would have given it to Fu just because he's got nuke, and we saw the difference in the nuke power. But hey, Big Dunka's a really good runner, and I'm not, so. Maybe he knows something I don't.
Well, it might be one of those things. Like, I think against if it looks like he's leaving, if he was trying to fight that Yang fight down there, or the Karate Man, then having more magic power on the nuke spell, the single target, makes a lot of sense. But if you're going to be fighting trap chests and you need more AoE spells and things like that, spreading out that magic power might be the difference between getting out of a fight earlier.
And we do see BG Rich fighting the dolls here. He's got a slightly different makeup than everybody else. He has no Rydia. He's basically going with the White Mage hybrid, White Mage Black Mage strategy of Fu, and 3 decent attackers in my opinion. So
yeah, no Rydia, no Tella. Just Fusia as the lone source of black magic. I think that's going to make this fight considerably more difficult, but we'll see.
Nope, I would definitely not disagree with you there. This will definitely be a challenge, especially that Quake not doing enough damage. Hopefully he is able to kill off those 2 cows before... Nope,
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
That's I can't even imagine what Calabrina is like in this spot. So he's going to try though. So we do see Chakasura getting the Earth Crystal, and we're going to see it looks. I thought he was going to go up in the overworld.
Big Dunka went up to Sheila, and the items flashed by so quickly I didn't see them.
It's Spoon, and it's some Garbo item.
Oh yeah. We saw. It was Chokasura who went there earlier. Yeah. Okay. My bad. I forgot. We'd already seen that.
No, that's all right. Dragon Spear. So good if you have Kane. Not good if you don't have Kane. So it looks as though Big Dunka has decided that maybe going up the Tower of Zot might be the plan. There is one trap chest. If that trap chest happens to have the adamant, that would, I think, solidify his first place position. Obviously, there are 20 some odd other runners who are in this race that we can't see. So, of course, I'm just talking about this here. Chakasura making the low percentage play and getting Odin at the rat tail. So, womp womp.
There are 20 or so other runners, but none of them have finished yet.
Nope, this is very true. Big Dunka going into Loot Rock. Some okay items in there. Nothing totally outstanding, but good to know that Rat Tail does not take you on another fetch quest. Like if it had given you, say, Twin Harp or something else, Magma Key.
Not a whole lot of fetch quests left now, so.
Nope, this is true. This is where it's turning.
Baron as well. So here we are, Dunka heading up into the Tower of Zot.
I am so happy to see this play. For his sake, I'm hopeful that he's rewarded by this play. But FF4 gonna FF4, so I feel like there's still a lot of match going.
Yeah, Chokasura is now going to the check the trap chests in the Self Cave. Looks like it was pretty barren other than the Sand Ruby.
Appears to be, although I haven't seen this fight that Z-Man is with. So I'm curious what's going to happen there. Very curious.
Well, Z-Man, he's in the Lower Babel.
Oh, he is in Lower Babel?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've seen this is the routing that Big Dunka's done, except Z-Man does not have the tower key, so not going to be able to get that. It was the Earth Crystal that was rewarded for using the tower key. So if this play by Dunka ends up being what needs to be done, well, there's the Twin Harp. The Twin Harp was up in Zot in the trap chest.
So now the question is, you got to continue?
Right, I think so, because again, this is the play that Dunka decided to make was to utilize that Luca key early, and so now this is following that chain.
And I think ultimately he wants to get rid of Tella. So if he picked up, a Cecil, a Kane, Edge, I think he would definitely be happy with that. And we're going to see Kenatsu or Kenazo, depending on who you are.
Yeah, if they had found the Earth Crystal super early in the game, this might be a really tough fight. But at these levels and with a fully powered up Fusia, this should not be difficult at all.
No, exactly. Yang doing a casual 2k damage against Kenazo. I think there's a total of 9,000 HP at this spot.
That sounds about right. Yeah. And Fusia able to get the lit, and Tella both able to get the before Kenazo even gathers the water. So
yeah, so easy peasy. Question in chat: we want to see those sick tunes. I want to see those sick tunes as well, but ultimately it's up to our runners to decide where we're going. We're on a roller coaster with no turns, and there is Edge. So Big Dunka will probably be happy about that.
I can definitely see ditching Tella for Edge.
I could as well. We'll see. Hey, maybe he'll surprise us all and not do it at all.
There have been a lot of interesting decisions made regarding characters in races, community, league. So we'll definitely find out here.
And you have
Cecil, too.
Cecil and Edge. What do you do?
I think Edge would be more likely to be kept than Cecil, but we'll see.
Oh, the troll for a second.
That was the troll from Dunka.
Oh, he knew. He's like, oh, well. See those 2 crystals? I'm curious about this Cecil. Wow. Bye-bye, Cecil.
Yeah.
So now the question is, why are you holding on to those 2 crystal armors? You had the chance. I totally get it, though. Playing with Cecil's agility and all that nutsiness, it's easier to not, in my opinion, of course.
Yeah, the decisions that Dunka made, I think, would be probably the most common strategy.
Yeah.
Given the decision and given Duncan's party makeup at the time, I think that makes perfect sense. Also, remember, if Cecil would have been at level 1 at that point, so would not be a help until able to complete at least this battle while staying alive.
Yeah, and Dark Elf at this spot's probably pretty free. Rosa doing just short of 1,000 damage there. Basic Edge doing 1k. Me change, because I think Val only has about 5 or 6k HP here. Something like that. It's pretty low, relatively speaking. I feel like this nuke's gonna take care of it.
And I want to bring up, we do have a first place finisher in the race. Simbu has finished in first place with an official time of 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 39 seconds. So GG's to Simbu.
Wow. Definitely GG. I would have not expected anyone to finish in 1 hour 23. Just shows you, though, how this game works sometimes.
Oh yeah, there's so many different choices that people can make.
So now we're going to see if Big Dunka is rewarded for all of his hard work on this long fetch quest chain that started a long time ago. And no. Womp womp. Don't listen to this guy.
Protect Ring is a fantastic item. It's a great piece of equipment. But at this time, especially if Dunka's got an eye on the IRC and sees that somebody's not done already, definitely not wanting that. Now is going down another chain that he has had, and that's the Baron key. So I'm going to check that route out.
He is going fast. He says those 3 chests, I don't even need them. Maybe there's value at Odin. I'm going to say for Skelekitty's Hope that there's probably 0 value at Cave Bahamut. Based on the fact someone finishing so quickly, but you never know.
Yeah, you better watch out saying things like that. She could get really mad at you.
She probably could. She'd probably beat me up too. That's okay.
Choco making a different play, going through the Dwarf Castle, which we already know is as far as progression.
Yeah, it's a dead end. So I feel like maybe this Baron key is gonna help out. I feel, and it's it's vanilla.
Yeah, right now we've got a couple places to go. There's this, and then there's the Twin Harp. One of those, I think, are the only places that we have left to look for progression. Unless I'm forgetting something obvious. Because we've already checked all of Sylph Cave and Sheila. We've checked Antlion, we've checked Ordeals, Baron Inn, everything in Upper and Lower Babil, Evelyn and Evelyn Castle, the Sealed Cave, the Land of Summoned Monsters, and both bosses down there. Yeah, I think we're down to it.
We are. So it's going to come down to either King or Real King or
King, Real King, or Harp.
Yeah. And we see a trapdoor, which again, at these levels for Dunka, this spot has, I believe, 3,300 HP, give or take. So I I do not anticipate any problems at this point.
Yeah, at these levels, any of the bosses in these spots here are going to be pretty simple. I think even Odin, the Odin spot, shouldn't be too difficult for Dunka at this spot.
A question chat from Crimson Avix. Is he committed to Harp? No, because in the little pot, or some people call it the trash can here, that he's about to find out, he could be rewarded with admin.
Yeah.
If not, it could be, we know where the, oh my goodness, the Sand Ruby is.
Right, the Sand Ruby is in Sylph Cave.
Yeah. We don't know where the package is yet. Tella trying desperately to get back into the party, and Bang Dunka says, no, thank you.
No, Dunka was happy with the decision to ditch Tella and go with Edge. So yeah, Dunka now could go back into Sylph Cave and open treasure chests there, because he hasn't done that yet. But we know that would be the wrong choice.
Yeah.
But what we haven't seen yet are the Odin fight and the Cave Magnus.
And one of them has to lead to the moon. Either Harp leads to moon, or this will lead to moon. Or, sorry. No, that's right.
Yeah, there's going to have to be moon access at some point. But we could get the adamant before that.
And to the
There's
moon.
the darkness crystal, so we have moon access.
Well, there you go.
Open up even more choices for Dunka.
Yeah. So I apologize, Scala. There still might be value in Cave Bahamut, after all.
Oh, you could be redeeming yourself, but we'll see.
Now, I'm going to play the percentages based on the time. Speaking of time, we do have a second place finisher, Silver Star 6609, finishing the time of 1:29:02. So GG to him. I want to say either the Odin play or the Heart play is going to reveal the adamant at this point, just based on the times. And I don't know if other runners use this to their advantage or not. I know I might, especially with the super free fight at Odin here, 2 guards, because they are susceptible to stop. So you stop them and you just... Excuse me, apologize.
Yeah, there's a couple of choices that you can use on guards the guards to make them. Because what they're really scary for are their counter. They counter with either Piggy or Size, depending on what you're using on them. So you can neutralize them with Mute. You can neutralize them with Stop. You can neutralize them with Coffins and just kill them.
Yep. You could also use Fatal if you wanted. Fatal is the equivalent to Coffin. It does have a miss rate, but could have definitely done that with these guards as well. But still down anyways. For those who want heart music, you are definitely hoping for something silly like the Magma Key here.
Or a piece of equipment.
Or Excalibur. So I am going to play the percentages and say Harp is probably the smart play. But I'm looking at it with extra data. Big Dunka might just decide, you know what, maybe we'll go to the moon. And we do see over here Z-Man killing Vanilla Bagan, or Bagan.
Yeah, all our runners are convergent on Baron at this point, so it's really interesting. We had a lot of divergence. Converging.
Yep. Yes. Looks, Dunka, where are you taking us?
Might be making that Sylph Cave play.
He is making a Sylph Cave play. No.
Yeah, there's 7 trap chests there. The only key item, as we know, is that Sand Ruby.
Chaos Lord, for our streamers, our featured runners, nobody's in go mode, but we do have 2 finishes already. So,
and I will say, at an hour and a half with V1K4 flags, I don't think we're all that shocked that we don't have anybody in go mode at this point. This is Nitsky said right at the beginning of this that this is a scavenger hunt. These flags are not known for just being generous with the key items.
No, the fact that we have, yes, this is weekly.
This is not League flags.
Yeah, the fact that we have 2 completions is mind-boggling to me. Because I think Dunka has been making pretty much all the right plays. Chakasura has been pretty much making all the right plays. Z-Man has been pretty much making all the right plays, and they are still looking for that adamant. Same with BG Rich. His stream was down for a bit, but he seems to have caught up. So amongst the 4 on screen, could be anyone's race.
Well, I mean, you say that, but at the same time, we know that Big Dunka did things like dive through Sealed Cave, which was a risk because that takes time. There's a boss down there that had to be taken, and that led to a chain that didn't really pay off for him. So if the runners, especially the ones who finished, decided not to make that gamble and go down there, that could have saved a considerable amount of time.
Absolutely. I don't know if Z-Man is just pondering his Darkness Crystal find here, or maybe his stream just stopped for a second there.
Could be considering what the next move is. Am I going to go to the moon and start fighting bosses there? Am I going to... Z-Man doesn't have the Twin Harp yet, so can't make that play.
No, so he doesn't know about that potential.
Yeah, I saw a mouse moving for a second, so must have been doing some tracking and making some calculations and deciding to go down to the underworld. Yeah.
And he is going to walk into Dwarf Castle, where Chakasura is going as well. We already know Big Dunka already made this move. Oh no, sorry, Chakasura is in Baron Castle. He's going to go to the Odin spot and be, unfortunately, a little bit sad.
Yeah, Z-Man is going to Dwarf Castle, which BG Rich has already done. We know if the bosses are there, Kane was available. Right, that's where Kane was, right?
Yes. BG Rich deciding, I'm going to make the moon gamble and see, maybe I'll check that trap chest in the lunar subterranean real quick. I'll check value of K Bahamut real quick. Because I'm sick and tired of this overworld, underworld garbage.
And we do have a 3rd place finish. Home J, or Homj, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, has finished in 3rd place with a time 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 53 seconds. So congratulations, GG's.
GG to Home J. He's a pretty good runner. He didn't make the round of 32 in the league, but I've raced against him in some pickup races, and he is no slouch. And Chakasura, seeing the Excalibur, going, man, where my Cecil at?
We know Cecil's at the top of the Tower of Zot.
Yes. And we do see Big Dunka here fighting a trap chest with some tiny toad people, getting rid of them. Super excited. Him and his toad family and Dead Sid just hanging out. And he does find the Sand Ruby.
And BJ Rich checking out the Hummingway shop, finding Hero 3, something very useful item.
Absolutely. He's selling everything. He's selling the walls, the floors, the ceiling. He wants as many Cure 3s as he can. He knows going into that Z fight that those can definitely be extremely useful. As we now see, Chakasura is going to make the play up to the Tower of Zot. Maybe the moon does hold the key here.
It could still be that Twin Harp, because we know the trapped chest in Zot does give the Twin Harp, and that was available from the beginning of the game.
Yep. BG Rich finding out who is our moon resident, and it looks as though to be everyone's favorite Gilbert. Shoutouts to Gilbert. He's really great at the beginning game because he can hide and he can throw Cure 2s and other J items. But at this point in the game, bye-bye. See you later.
You can also equip a Dancing Dagger.
This is very true. Looks as though BG Rich is going to step out, be saddened by the fact that so sad he needs to take a nap. And we do see here.
So BG Rich is going to start checking out lunar spots. Could possibly go to the lunar path, the one trap chest there. There's a bunch of trap chests and a bunch of bosses in the lunar palace. And then there's the Cave Bahamut, but it looks like BG Rich has decided to go back to the blue planet.
Absolutely. We'll see if this was the right play or not. As we see Big Dunka finding another trap chest, and we'll see what is in there. He has a lot of key items there, Rex, so he's got 12, or more than 12. 4, 7, 13. A lot of key items.
That is a lot. Once you hit 10 key items, then you get double experience for every fight. So if you wanted to grind any more, which I don't think he needs a ton more grinding, Rose is almost at 1600 HP already. But if he wants to, it won't be very long to any more grinds.
Absolutely. Looks as though BG Rich is going to go down the incorrect rabbit hole here and dive into the sealed cave. Unfortunately, we know where that's going to end up with sadness and tears as Big Dunka continues to clear out the Self Cave. And we do see Chakasura up at the top of the tower, going to have his edge. We're going to see what happens there. Z-Man has also picked up Keen. Well, all this action's been going on here. I believe he's happy probably with his final party. Got his Sid Anchor.
Yeah, that's a decent party that Z-Man has for sure.
Yep. Curious if Chakasura is going to hold on to Edge or Cecil here.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting choice for Chuck.
And takes Yang away.
That is an interesting choice.
Wow. Penguinator would not be pleased right now. Second best character left by the wayside, Penguin. I am very sorry to hear that. And he is going to fight Knee Change here at the Valvalis spot.
Yeah, Edge is a character who, if you've got equipment, is going to be right away a lot more useful than Yang. But the one thing that you're going to really trade off, like Edge is a lot more versatile, has the dart ability, can equip a lot of weapons that have a lot of various stat bonuses, can equip more armor than Yang. It has the AoE spells, which are pretty pointless at this point, but can be, if you find them early, could be useful. But where you trade off is Yang's has much better HP growth than Edge.
And even his damage as he gets to the higher levels is pretty... It's not insignificant, let me tell you. When you get Yang berserked and he's berserking for, 3,500, 4K, you feel happy inside. You're like, hey, I made the right choice. So we'll see for Chakosura if he has decided to make the right choice here ultimately.
Yeah, I think both Edge and Yang can deal out pretty good melee damage when berserked at higher levels, especially since we saw like Murasame available in this run, and that's going to help Edge's damage output considerably.
This is very, very true. I will definitely give you that. You ground with Yang to all those levels. He had over 2k hit points, and then you just left him at the side of the road.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have made that choice. I might have ditched Rydia at this point, but I wouldn't have ditched Yang after investing what you did into him.
No, exactly. But, hey, to each their own.
And that's the thing, like, a big part of this game is rolling with who you're comfortable with, too. I mean, the more characters that you are comfortable with, generally the better, but... if you're more comfortable with Edge than you are with Yang, then you can really, really push him. And if you find him early, could be useful. But where you trade off is Yang's has much better HP growth than Edge. So if you want to go for Yang, then take Edge for sure.
Yeah. Big Dunka leaving Kane behind. Again, I can't blame him. He's got his characters all leveled up.
Also, I will say Chokosura is a much better racer than I am, so follow what Choco does, not what I say.
Yes, I would also agree.
Oh, you'd also agree that Choco's a much better racer than I am? Yeah.
No,
true.
than I. So, if we can get our restreamer, if Chokosura has audio, it appears as though he is going to make the plunge into Dark Elf Cave and potentially be rewarded.
This is great. One of the biggest treats of the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise is it's not a flag, it's just a feature when you have the Twin Harp and you go to the vanilla Dark Elf spot. The music.
So I'm just gonna give it a moment of silence here.
Yes.
He does have a couple of characters up here that he's gonna have to kill off. This is all scripted. At this point, your characters either need to be to die or be paralyzed. Hopefully Rydia can do the job, and she does. And let's see what we hear.
Yeah, we're going to hear DJ Spoonie B's Rockin' Tunes. Sounded like we had some hiccups at first, but this is to Xanarkin from Final Fantasy X. One of my favorite songs in the entire series, personally.
I'm glad you know it, because beyond anything Final Fantasy VII, I have no clue.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy X personally. I know that it's a bit divisive in the community, but I quite like it, and this is my favorite song from it. The Ogo Pogo fight, pretty much a nuke and a Bahamut is all it takes to defeat it there. So let's see what the crystal actually is there.
And reward.
There we are, and you were correct. With you were playing those times of when the finishes were, and you figured, I think it's got to be that Twin Harp where the adamant is. And you were correct there, Netsky, without a doubt. If we could get the sound now to Big Dunko, we could hear just two Xanarkin again. Okay, maybe we won't be able to get sound for Dunka's screen, but at least we got to hear it once.
Yep. And in the interim, Hippos has finished with a time of 1:46.20 for fourth place. I'll shut up.
Okay, I'll say it because it's happening right now. Chokasura has gone to Kokos, has forged the crystal, officially in go mode. We'll see if Choco thinks he needs to do any more grinding or is ready to head straight to Zeramus, because we looks like heading over to the omelet spot. So I'm going to grind a little bit, but definitely has those 10 key items for double experience. And Choco is on the precipice of defeating Zeramus and saving the world.
Now the question is, when Big Dunka got rid of Yang for Edge, I think he's got to do a little bit of grinding himself. So any lead that he had may have been lost. So this is going to shape up to be definitely an epic battle for fifth place position here, as it appears to still be up for grabs. As we have Chokasura in go mode, fighting eggs, using coffins, cheating, some people might say. And it looks as though Sid is dead, and everybody's happy about that.
I will say there was one also, just an interesting thing. I mentioned Rosa's versatility earlier in the game. We saw some swapping out of equipment over on Z-Man's screen. He had the Artemis arrows equipped to Rosa with the heroine robe so that she could deal out some decent physical damage, but decided to change that all out, change the heroine robe for a sorcerer, change the bow and arrows for a lunar staff to make her a lot more better as a white mage and her white magic a lot more effective, and put that Artemis bow and arrow on Sid instead of the rune axe. So it's just a big swap over around, very interesting. I really like that you've got the opportunities to choose how you want your characters to be equipped like that. The characters themselves, unlike a lot of other Final Fantasy games, are very set in their roles, but the equipment is definitely malleable.
Yeah, so it looks as though Duncan is just probably setting up his spells for Zeramus. I'm wondering if he's just going to fly back, go speak with Coco, and go. He's going to walk back. I have to do some timing on whether or not you can pick up a chocobo, because you can hold down Y, and chocobo goes at like the hovercraft speed, and I'm wondering if that's faster.
I think with the added speed that we're given in Free Enterprise, I think walking is faster. But I haven't timed it out myself. I might be wrong. I do find myself, because in vanilla I always got a chocobo to go back to Toria there. I do that like reflexively, and I'm like, didn't need to do that.
No, exactly. It appears as though Big Dunk has decided that I need a little more help. Need a little more bubbles. I mean, beyond the crystal, because he picked up 10 sirens, so that tells me that even though he's going to Coco's house and is gonna forge the crystal, that he is not quite ready.
Reading between the lines or directly on the lines, and that was something that escaped me.
That's okay.
But Choco cashing in the pass, heading straight to Zeramus, where Z-Man is now heading down the lunar subterranean path. Not going to find what he needs down there, so he's down what could be a possibly really long rabbit hole. It's not going to help him out.
Yeah, that's a great question, Scala. Where did everyone find the Darkness Crystal? I had to step away for a little bit when that happened, so I am not sure, Silver Star.
Oh, Darkness Crystal, that was...
Oh, was that at the end of the Baron Key?
Yes, it
Baron
was.
Castle, that's right.
Baron Castle, yeah.
Yeah. My vote is for Strong Badness, who's my new favorite Z Sprite.
Ooh.
Also,
I do like some Strong Bad.
apparently it was a community request. It might be a huge sprite, Lavamus maybe, classic. That might be fun. I know some people like the huge sprites that take the whole screen. We will see in just a moment here.
I think the tiny sprites are also really
Absolutely. Mumis is one of my favorite small sprites.
I think I've seen Birdo.
Birdomus, yes, I've seen Birdo. That was hilarious. And it's a big sprite that I don't know. Chat, help me out.
Scala, who is this?
Is Nukemus.
From Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2.
Oh boy. Going right into the obscure files with that one. I've never even played the first Final Fantasy Tactics. That is a pull. So he looks like this big angry guy with some corn on him. Just for everyone in chat, he still acts like regular Zero Mist. The sprite is just different. It's just something we do. It looks as though Chakasura's party is in control. Like Rydia is probably going to take a nap at some point, but
okay, Scala, I'm gonna admit that I don't know every monster from every Final Fantasy game, so I'm woefully inadequate there. So, but I do enjoy this sprite. It is a fun-looking sprite. It is covered in corn, as Nitsky says, so I like that.
And the nuke on Fu, right behind the Big Bang. This might be a problem for Chaco.
Well, he's got Rosa, so I don't think it's the end of the line. This should be a nerfed Big Bang. So it's not going to do tons of damage to the other characters. And Rosa has the Cure 4 to heal up everybody else. We'll see how much Choco decides to prioritize reviving Fu, and looks like it's a pretty high priority because using that life potion right there. Z-Man running into the Babul Gauntlet in the lunar subterranean. That is a long fight.
That is. And Big Dunka looking at the corn sprite, as I'm just going to call it.
Yeah. That is now officially Cornimus.
That is, as far as I'm concerned. Bahamut, I don't know if that was a smart ploy by Chakasura. He might have forgotten that Zeramus doesn't like those. Although he tipped him. So he got away with one there.
You can time it right.
You time it right and you tip him over. It's definitely a lucky play there.
So now Choco had used a Moon Veil up there to put the wall on him, and now employing some hybrid attacking, darting, and reflex strats. This has become a lot more common.
Yeah. Whereas Big Dunka just going classic. Give me Bacchus. I'm gonna throw a spoon at this thing, and we're just gonna rock it.
Yeah. Berserk's characters and Cure 4s is a tried and true tactic on Zeramus.
I will stick with Berserk probably forever. Even if some sort of hybrid reflex strat becomes the optimal strat, it's a can't miss.
Well, on Choco's side, it makes a lot more sense to employ that sort of strategy because he's got Rydia and Fusia, both who can sling nukes, and having the option of having two characters reflect nukes makes a lot of sense. On Big Dunka's side, Dunka's got three great melee fighters up at the front, so that makes a ton of sense.
So close. Just slipping in really quickly here. Gaming with a Wraith finishing in 155.16 and Dragus finishing in 6th. The time of 156.03. GG to both of those. As Z-Man finds a Magma Key and more sadness. Sadly.
Yep, sadly sadding it up for Z-Man. But we've got a close finish here. Looks like on the with both Choco and Big Dunka in their Zeramus fights. So this is going to be exciting finish here for our community race on the featured streamers.
Exactly, right here on Randomania for all your rando need. Got even Rydia with the virus action there. It's not doing much, but each chip away helps. That's for sure. Is the Silk Web going to get off in time? It appears as though he might have just slipped that in there.
Yeah, that looked good.
It did look good. It was a little touch and go for a second there. Hitting Keen. My goodness, so much action going on both sides.
Yeah, lots of Bacchus, lots of big bangs, lots of black holes.
Let's see, it should be nerfed for Choco here. And it is, and everybody survives. You must be happy about that. It just, anytime you lose a character I find during this fight, you tend to get just a little frazzled, and that's sort of when the wheels fall off.
Without a doubt. The managing, because sometimes a character is going to fall in the Zeramus fight. I've said frequently, Zeramus is no joke. This is a legit final boss. Very appropriate for a game like this. And so sometimes characters are going to die, and how you handle that is what separates a lot of great times from good times.
Absolutely. I'm still waiting for that meteor phase. I'm pretty sure they both tipped it over. Maybe we'll see it from Choco here. So we see another big bang on Big Dunka's side. Nope, another nuke. Thankfully, trying to go after Edge.
That was a lucky target.
That was. Still some more chipping away there. Another big bang. I think this is going to drop Edge, though.
Yeah, Choco had already lined up the life potion, just assuming that Edge is going to fall here, and he does.
Yeah. Giving potentially Big Dunka. You want to push out all the DPS you can. It's just the way it works. Black Hole on Big Dunka, he's going to have to re-berserk. That's the only downside of the berserk strats. That was the last, I think, Cure 4 that Rosa could throw. Her MP was really, really low. Another Black Hole for Chakosura. This is nail biting. Another Bacchus wine for Edge.
Penguinator asking, where did the crystal turn up? It turned up in Kokol's blacksmith.
Yes. Kokol forged the crystal penguin, and that's how they were able to get to Zeramus. Glad you asked the question. We're glad to help here.
Yeah, I know that was a very, very good question, very good answer from me, not trolling at all.
Hard, I'm getting the hard questions here. And a GG.
There we go. Bahamut taking out Cornemus, Nukamus, Zeramus, something else.
In a time of 2 hours and 39 seconds. GG to Chakosura.
GG's indeed. I'm going to see if Choco wants to come in for an interview. Okay?
For sure. Big Dunka's got to be close himself here, I feel. So close. Edge is going to take a nap, unfortunately. But that's okay. We got Sid powering out with 500 DPS. And a GG for Big Dunka. Finishing in 9th place with a time of 8th place, I should say, at the time of 2:01:21. Bunch of flurry of finishes. Burn the Witch 9th place, 201.33, and Night Dew finishing 10th, the time at 201.49. Looks as though Big Dunka is going to pass on the interview. Totally understand that. GG to him.
Yeah, GG's to Dunka for sure.
Yeah, this seed is a very it's a mentally exhausting seed because you have to remember all the places you have to go, all the things you got to do, and totally can appreciate that. As we do see Z-Man, unfortunately, still on the moon, trying to figure out where all of these things are. As we do see BG Rich finishing out Tower of Zot.
And I think we are going to get Choco. We might just be prepping up.
No problem. Looks as though Z-Man definitely leveled up. You know when your Fusoya's over 2k health, you're pretty much in go mode. You're just looking for that adamant armor. As we do see BG Rich save Cecil from the bowling ball of doom, I'm curious what's going to happen here in regards to it. To answer your question more seriously, Penguin Eater, Twin Harp had adamant armor.
Not the armor.
Or adamant, just adamant. Jeez, had the adamant, and they received the Legend Sword a long time ago, in a galaxy far away that I can't remember. And I think we have Chocosir in chat right now. GG and congratulations.
GG, thank you.
No problem. So, what'd you think? Do you play a lot of K4?
I do a lot of practice on K4, so there is that.
Nice.
But tonight was just me going all the wrong places.
Well, I don't think you were the only one. There were a lot of different ways to go and a lot of rabbit holes to go down, and definitely a tough seed. What are your what do you think overall of K4? Do you enjoy it in a race setting? Do you want to see more of it? Do you want to see less of it?
Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing more of it because personally I like longer races. I don't like those short races, the jet seeds. It feels like I'm being rushed. I like to not take my time, but I like to actually race.
Yeah, for sure.
More path divergences and.
Absolutely, it was funny. At one point, you had all diverged paths, and then sort of all came back together, so to speak. So that was kind of funny to see, in a very close fight between you and Big Dunka. You had entered the fight before him, but he had just somehow caught up a little bit, but it was just a little too short.
Right. I think I messed up trying to calculate damage during the Z fight because I noticed when I attacked him he didn't counter, so I figured I may have triggered his refill.
Yeah, I noticed that you had tipped him, and I thought I was curious. I was like, this might be it, but you had just probably was really close to tipping him over there in regards to that.
Yeah, I probably just miscalculated.
You had the chance at the Twin Harp, but you had avoided it for a little bit. Just curious your thoughts.
Oh my god, when I saw the first place finish from Simbu, I believe I was in Sylph Cave at the time. I figured, okay, the adamant cannot be in Sylph Cave if I'm already seeing dot duns. So I'm scrambling back to the overworld. I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's somewhere that I haven't checked. So I decided to check Dwarf, then Baron, which was wrong, obviously. And finally, I went for that Earth Crystal.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
then I saw the Twin Harp, and then I'm thinking, it's got to be in Twin Harp. It's got to be there.
That's when I saw the time finish. I said, "There's no way it was on the moon at that point." So
that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm thinking no one could have gone to the moon if I'm seeing finishes. So.
No.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. If when you saw the Darkness crystal, if you're thinking, how soon do you want to prioritize the moon run? But seeing that done kind of affected it, didn't it?
Yeah, and personally, I don't really like diving moon unless I really have to, because I'm not gonna say most of the time, but half the time moon doesn't pay off. So
yeah, there's a lot of possibility up there, but if you can avoid it, it's probably best to, because those caves are long, those bosses are frequent,
definitely.
and yeah.
Well, we can see it right now. Z-Man, unfortunately, has made the moon play, and is just he's going to be sad, which makes me sad. Yeah.
Ouch.
He gambled. We thought at one point it might be an Odin spot there, but that's where Excalibur was. So
I was thinking Odin spot at one point too.
Yeah, one other play that you and Dunka both made pretty early was to check that sealed cave, which I know a lot of runners tend to avoid. Were you just like gambling on the chance that you might get a big lead if you find a really important key item down there?
Pretty much, I was gambling sealed cave. I don't like to leave it for last. I know other people don't like doing sealed cave, like you said, but I'm one of those runners that tend to check sealed cave just in case.
Sure. Yeah, I mean that makes total sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes in these seeds, especially as I called it, a treasure hunt seed, you gotta sometimes make the low percentage plays to see if it works out.
Definitely.
Awesome. Do you have any final thoughts or anything else you'd like to add?
I thought personally my gameplay was okay. It could have been better at points, but once I formed my final party, I just rolled through. But yeah, it mainly just the Z fight where I miscalculated damage.
No, in looking at it, I didn't see anything that was like glaring, like, oh no, he didn't do this, or oh no, he didn't do that. It was just one of those things. Sometimes rando's gonna rando, and
rando, you're right.
Absolutely. So GG, and everyone, make sure that you do follow Chuck Sir. He's a pretty good runner.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, you finished this seed in 2 hours. If I was in this race, I'm probably still running around.
I can say 2 hours pretty good, man.
Two for a K4
yes.
With P2. I mean, everybody got pretty lucky with the pass there, but definitely 2 hour time is nothing to sneeze at.
No, it is not.
And not having to dive into the deep moon in order to find either the legend sword or the adamant also makes it a lot smoother.
That definitely was a plus. I didn't have to touch the moon. I was fearing I'm gonna have to go to the moon at one point, but like I said earlier, I saw the dot done. It's got to be on the overworld somewhere.
Perfect. Well, we've got some music, I think, on BG Rich's side, so I think we're gonna listen into that. So thank you again, Chuck, sir, for joining us, and again, GG, and
GG,
good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Good night.
Listen to my story. Me change.
And that's how you kill Ogopo.
Og to the Pogues. Down very quickly. And now we've got BG Rich getting the Adamant, putting him in go mode, whereas Z-Man continuing the rabbit hole of the Lunar Subterrane, finding the 4 Fiends fight in the Wyvern spot.
Nobody likes seeing that there, especially when Elements gets healed. That's a no bueno.
Yeah, because when you're not familiar with how the it's really tough to know at what HP levels the elements will change as they change different boss locations. Like, you might be really familiar with them in their vanilla spot and how to time your elemental magic to do lots of damage. Like, clearly Z-Man was queuing up a Fire 3 that does massive damage on the Mylon part of it, but once it changes to Rubicante, it doesn't really work so well. So
he's just getting really unlucky there. The timing's just a little bit off, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's why for me, if I've got Fusia and I'm fighting the elements, I just rely on Nuke. Because then I know that's non-elemental, it's just going to deal damage.
I agree 100%. Looks as though BG Rich officially in go mode at about 2 hours and 13 minutes. I feel like his levels are good and everything is good.
We do have an 11th place finisher, Lofaz, at 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 51 seconds. So GG's to Lofaz. Yeah, and we'll see if BG Rich also thinks... looks like BG Rich is heading back up to the overworld, so might be done grinding. But we also know that the sirens were for sale in Toria, so might be going to stock up on those too. We'll see. Oh, we're going to see an interesting quirk of the game because Final Fantasy IV was one of the earlier games in the Super Nintendo's lifestyle. The programming wasn't quite what it was when it came to the end of it. So BG Rich is going to enter the Zeramus fight with, I believe it was the Dragoon Spear equipped on Kane, but is probably going to switch over to the Avenger at some point. What this is going to do is impart that Berserk status, but kind of glitch it out so it's still going to have a lot of the properties. It's really weird part of the game.
Yeah, fun fact, in vanilla, if you do this glitch with Cecil, you soft lock yourself. So I recommend not doing it.
Yeah, and there's also some, like, on the timing, you could make it so, like, in the beginning, in the first form of Zeramus, you always miss. And if you time it wrong, you can continue to always miss as well, too. That's happening.
Absolutely. So
the Avenger Sword is great, but it's buggy.
It is. Well, I mean, hey, they fed a whole game in 1 megabyte. So that's something to say, even if it is buggy.
Oh, yeah, and, you know, a lot of the bugs add a lot of fun, especially in something like a randomizer. Like, we have a glitchless category, but even then, there's still some glitches that you could use.
No, exactly. Oh, look, it's Cornfieldamus. I wonder what's going to happen.
You gotta watch out, or it'll shoot popcorn at you.
I don't know what this opening is, but maybe it shoots like... you said popcorn. I'm thinking like full of kernels.
Oh, like a Colonel machine gun. Yeah, you can kind of
Yeah.
see that at the top.
It's scary. That's all I can say. Goes in my
Or-
scary sprite file.
Or it'll possibly use Big Bang.
It could, if it only knew how. Oh wait, it knows how.
Meanwhile, Z-Man going deeper and deeper, heading into the lunar core.
Oh, Z-Man, I'm sending you the energy. Turn around. Don't open that chest. Don't see Ogopogo. I'm scared at whose Ogopogo spot.
I'll try to send the vitality.
I'm trying to send the energy, and it's. Please be kind. Oh, it's Ashura. Ashura with like a gajillion hit points, but cast wall on her and should be pretty free.
Yeah, her physical attacks aren't going to be nothing.
No, exactly. They will. But if you can figure out how to keep her in that purple face mode and she casts Life 1, then that's a dream. As we see Cornemus here shaking about, BG Bitch doing some sweet DPS. Actually, not that bad. Only hit Sid for 121. Although hit Fu for 903. So.
Yeah, Sid does have a very good draw of good armor, so that's going to help him a bit.
RPG Mel, does he chuck fried chicken at you? You know what? Apparently, if you play Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2, you can find out for yourself. Apparently, that's where this spike comes from. Rose is down, though. This could be bad.
Yeah, if there's one character that you don't want to see fall, it's going to be Rosa. Or whoever your white mage is.
Yeah. And Fusoya is just, he's hanging on here. I
we
smell.
We do have a 12th place finisher as Shamstron, finished in 12th place at 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 18 seconds.
Nice. Jesus, Shamstron. These are super tough flags. So, you know, we unfortunately did notice PMA K-Foul did forfeit. So we have had one forfeit, but consider these flags one forfeit's pretty gosh darn good, I would say.
Yeah, if we're over 2 hours into it, and if that's true, we only have one forfeit. That's actually a very good rate here, I think.
Yeah. Shout out to Penguinator, our admin for the Monday Night Weekly. Give me these amazing flag sets. Just wanted to give him a special shout out there. Next week he has something a little less dicey for us. So hopefully you'll all come in and see that one. But he wants us to forge the crystal again. Maybe I can get him to change his mind.
Well, I'll be excited for the next giant percent. That's my favorite week.
Just saying, Penguin, that's what the fans want to see. That's all good. Penguin is super awesome, super helpful member of the community, and we appreciate him taking out his free time to help put on these races and put everything together with our supporters at Randomania, Dead Tie-Dye Guy, doing the restreaming behind the scenes, Scala Kitty, making sure all these trackers are perfect so that you can see what's going on. Just shout out to those people who you never really hear a lot about, but definitely make a difference. Oh look, it's D-Mist. Do we have Oh, Z-Man decided no.
Well,
No
we
D-Mist.
do have a free lunch, so it's not an extra item for D-Mist in this situation.
And it looks as though BG Rich in the meteor phase. So Cornemus here is going to go down shortly. I can sense it any moment. The anticipation's building. Will Fu get the swag kill? Tune in. Or is he just casting care? Maybe he's casting light. Oh, the nuke swag kill. Come on. You got this, BG Rich. Yeah, there we go.
That's the flash.
And GG to BG Rich, who finishes an official SRL time of 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 18 seconds, and gets bonus points from me for the swag kills. So, GG to him. A well fought battle. Had some internet issues there, but was able to get it done. So we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Like I said, 222 on these flags is, especially if you're not running them often, is definitely a good time. Still some notable people who haven't finished yet. F. Coughlin hasn't finished yet. Flurry 14, also pretty good runner, not finished yet. Rumblefish, Ovok Jam, some pretty good runners in this race. I believe we're joined by BG Rich now. Nope.
Don't think so.
I lied. So I think what we're going to do here is we're gonna shout out to Z-Man, and we're just gonna raid him at this point. In regards to the situation, I know BG Rich was having some internet styling issues there, so I think we're just gonna cut at this point. And just wanted to say again, thanks to everybody who made this happen. Thanks to Scholar Kitty. Thanks to that tie-dye guy. Thanks to all of our runners, Chakosura, Big Dunka, Z-Man, and BG Rich 419. And also to my co-commentator, to which this could not all be possible because my smoke alarm decided to go off randomly, Rex Rowe.
Well, so glad to help you with your smoke alarm, Nitsky. Also, shout outs to Nitsky. Just been a pleasure commenting with you, and going to be great when we go ahead and raid Z-Man. Everybody wish him the best of luck, and hopefully we'll send some positive vibes this way.
Absolutely. Thanks everyone for watching, and have yourselves either a wonderful day or a wonderful night.
Take care.